So let's give him more round of applause. Welcome him up here to talk to you guys about upserving today, Mr. Seth Kinzer.
Hey, Seth Kinzer.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, no pressure at all. Thank you. I'm really excited to be talking to you guys about upserving or upselling. First of all, I just want to honor everyone for coming here. For a lot of people, it was like, yeah, I'm going to the net meeting no matter what. And other people, like, I would talk to them and they're like, oh, I don't know, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of time out of my schedule. I'm like, you need to go. You need to make the investment in yourself. And you guys all chose to do that. And I really want to honor you for it. It's awesome to see how many people are showing up for the first ever net meeting. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about upserving because something that I've noticed and the feedback I've gotten from a lot of people that work with me is like, you spend so much time with customers. Jill at our state fair has like twice the amount of orders that I have, and we'll sell like the same amount, and be like, that's because I just maximize them. Once the credit card's out, I just want to keep them spending money. The odds are, like, they've already spent money with me, they're going to spend more money. The great thing is, like, once they already have, like, you've broken the hardest barrier, which is gaining their trust and getting the credit card out of their pocket. Once that's out, you got to maximize it. And I do feel like somewhat of a fraud giving this message because of the fact that I'm like, well, Josh, I just do everything you taught me to do in your Mastery of Upselling talk. Who here has listened to that talk? Like, I've listened to that talk a lot. And I'm like, I just do everything you do in the talk. It's like, well, give Seth's version of Josh's talk. I'm like, I can do that. So this is Seth's version of Josh's talk. And at the end, I'm going to give you Josh's handout. You know why? I was taught, find a master, follow the model. So here's the model. It works awesome. Literally, there's been like 3 major influential people in my Cutco career. My breakout year was when I first started selling in 2011. I went out and I learned how to sell to new customers from Curtis, and I like blew up on my shows. And I was like, there's another level. And then I flew down and trained with Jason for a week, and I learned how to sell upgrades to Cutco owners. And I was like, there's another level. So I flew down, trained with Josh, learned how to upsell, and like now I just gotta get better at all 3 of those things. And there's 5 keys. All right, so there's 5 keys to upserving or upselling your customers. So I'm gonna run through what the 5 keys are and then go into bigger detail. So the 5 keys. Number 1 is timing. Right? Who here has ever had it where like the customer's like, oh yeah, I'll buy it. And you're like, sweet. Have you seen our buy 2 get 1 free special? Or our blank special? And then all of a sudden you start telling them about it, and then it's a larger amount of money, and then they're like, oh, let us think about it while we walk around. What? No, wait. You already committed. You're going to buy this. You said that. Like, oh, like, we just want to think if we want to do the whole deal or if we want to just do that. We'll for sure be back. No, you're not. There's a black hole. It's going to suck you up. You're never going to come back. I promise. I see you people all the time. No, we know about the black hole. We'll tiptoe around it now. No, you won't. It'll suck you up. So, timing. I was actually field training with Josh, and he had, it was a great example of what not to do. He had the order. It was like a 5-piece special. He had it, and then they asked about the flatware, and he started telling me about the flatware. He got really excited about it. Oh yeah, and like, if you do that, you can actually get a bigger discount on your 5-piece special. Like, oh, that's a really good deal. Let us think about it while we walk around. He turns around and he goes, son of a, I didn't follow my own rules. Timing, all right? Number 2 is interest phrasing. You've heard like all the speakers talk about this. It's like, just so you know, the more you spend, the more you get, the more you get, the more you save. I'll teach you a little bit more about that. Number 3, leading questions. You're gonna lead the customer to where you want them to land. The close is number 4. And then the 3 rules of upselling is number 5. How many keys? 5 keys. 5 keys to upselling. All right, so obviously the goal of upselling and upserving is to add more value to the customer. The more Cutco they get, the better off they are. Who here believes that? Like their life gets better when they get more Cutco. So your job is to help them get as much Cutco as possible. All right. Whatever someone, when they make their first initial buying decision, that does not mean that that's all the money they have. That just means that that's all the money they're committed to spending right now and saying yes to without thinking about it. That's where your job starts. It starts when you get the initial yes. So going back to key number 1, timing. You only begin to upserve once you have the credit card. Like the order is written down, and then you can start using phrases like, oh, just so you know. The more you spend, the more you get. So the goal is, with the interest phrasing, is to re-engage the customer and to intrigue them of what other value you have to offer. Like, what are 3 reasons that customers upsell or choose to do more? 1, it's to save time. They're already there. They're already looking at it. The second is to save money. If you're going to get it eventually and you can budget it today, it just makes sense. And third is stress. Think about when you sell someone Christmas gifts. Who has ever had like a really crappy experience shopping in the mall at Christmas time? Right? It's like when you like I've been sitting at a mall kiosk and I'll see someone come up with like just a bundle of bags. And it's just like a ton of stress. And like, oh, I don't have hardly any of this stuff on my list. That's a lot of stress. And they have like bags and bags and bags of stuff. Like, wouldn't that be cool if we got all your Christmas shopping done right now? Have you ever thought about getting Cutco for your kids? Have you ever considered blank? Just so you know, the more you get, the more you save. And you keep repeating that over and over and over again. I was working with Mike Dowd at an event recently, and he's like, wow, you watched me take a guy from a lockback pocket knife to a $1,000 order, and all I did was just kept saying the same phrases over and over again. Oh, by the way, have you seen blank? Have you seen our hearty slicer? Have you seen our cheese knife? Well, the more you save, the more you get, the more you save. Oh, yeah, I'll get those. Cool. Hey, by the way, have you seen our steak butter knives? Which that's like another great name for them. Steak butter knives. Yeah, it's a steak butter knife. It's a steak knife and a butter knife in one. I learned that from Mike Dowd. It's awesome. I'm like, yeah, and these are our steak knives. So you like the steak butter knives? You like the steak knives? Like this is what everyone wants. This is what everyone needs. Even our vegetarian customers love them because it's a butter knife and a steak knife in one. Step 3, leading questions. So this is when you're trying to lead the customer to where you want them to land, right? So you're leading them with things like, so my customers often show interest in blank, the flatware. But the reason they choose to bundle it today with the knives is because of all the money you save. It's actually our #1 discounted item here when you bundle it with the knives. We can save you 40% off. Another phrase, the best way to reward my clients for bundling is, fill it in. Like what are some different ways that you can reward your customers? What Josh will do is like, hey, something I learned from him, if you choose to add on the business gifts, you save an additional 5% off your entire order. If you choose to add on the flatware, I'll also buy and throw in the accessory set for free, which is $260 extra. If you choose to blank, then I can do blank. If you do blank, then I'll do blank. If you add on that block, I'll throw in that gadget that $50 gadget you really like. When they show an interest, claw at it. I've heard in Josh's talk, he talks about a customer that like comes up and is like not interested at all in anything besides a garlic press. But then the husband just mentions like casually, like, "Oh, honey, do you see the flatware?" And he just clawed it a little bit. "Oh, are you guys in the market for flatware?" Ask discovery questions. Make an emotional connection to it. Something that I've really been working on this year is helping customers create an emotional connection to why they want to get this thing. The more pain you can cause, like you can like bring up for a customer, it's like, isn't it like embarrassing when you go to like cut your steak and the whole table shakes? I shake the table. I'm like, yeah, the earthquake effect. Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if your kids were cutting their steak and like it was easy? It wasn't embarrassing? Imagine what that would be like. By the way, when you say that, imagine what it would be like. You're telling them to imagine it, and then they do. And then that creates a positive emotion, like, oh, wow, that would be really nice. You might consider, that's another awesome phrase, you might consider bundling this with this because it just makes sense. Because when you say you might consider, your brain only hears consider this. Doesn't hear might. It's like a hack. It's like, you might consider this. And they're like, oh, I should consider that. He just told me to. Introduce your solution and then build value. So the goal is they show a need, they show some interest, you uncover the need, and then you upsell. Upserve. Because we all agreed, right? That the more Cutco they get, the better off they are. Step 4, closing. It's like I said, the most difficult part of a sale is gaining their trust, right? Once you have their trust, it's so much easier. You overcome like the hardest barrier. They have their credit card out, they've said yes to you. It's much easier for them to say yes again. Since you're doing blank, since you're doing the set upgrade today, if you want to add on the flatware, I can add on the accessory set for free. How many back pocket specials do you guys have in your arsenal right now? I found that one of the best things is either talking about it in terms of percentages or in terms of items. Right? So it's like, I call it a pick 3 on the gadgets. I'm like, there's a pick 3 or there's a pick 6. The pick 6 is you get all of them. The pick 3 is you just have to minimize down to just 3. Would you guys see yourself getting use out of this? I mean, imagine if you could like go home and clear out an entire drawer of ice cream scoops that are old and pitted, pizza cutters that don't work, accessory stuff, 6 peelers that are rusty and gross. You threw all that away, and you just had one good set of Cutco stuff that you'll never replace ever again. Wouldn't that be awesome? So if you can budget it, and you'd see yourself using it, it just makes sense. Do you ever eat ice cream? Yeah, you know how it always gets pitted in the middle? You know why that happens? Ice cream has eggs in it, which is corrosive. It eats away at the finish. So yeah, so like pretty much every ice cream scoop does that. The great thing is that if that happens with a Cutco one in like 20, 30 years, we'll just give you a brand new one for free. Plus it has a special metal that actually melts ice cream. It's science, not magic. Jason? Like how many different things can you upsell? Think about like package deals, right? Cookware, flatware, garden tools, which are now lower, easier to sell, because they're cheaper. The gadgets, the kitchen tool set. Like I think is one of the most sold things ever. Like people have like thousands of those things in their kitchen. Imagine what it'd be like if you threw away like everything and simplified your life, Mrs. Jones. How much easier would it be? How much simpler would your life be if you just threw out everything or gave it to your kids or gave it to Goodwill and got a tax refund and they actually paid you for your old stuff, basically. and you just had one good American-made set forever. Wouldn't that be awesome? You might consider doing that today. The phrase that is like the most important at the end is connecting emotionally, but then like finishing off with logic. It's like if you would see yourself getting this eventually, and you can budget it today, it just makes sense to do it. Step 5, the 3 rules. Right? The 3 rules. Number 1, always offer. Number 2, always offer again. 100% of the time. It's like there was back when I was brand new, before I like really discovered how to upsell or upserve at a high level, like I did it by accident. They showed interest in 4 pieces, but the special, or in 5 pieces, but the special was buy 3 get 1 free, because that's what I promoted. So like, oh, I guess we'll wait to get that. I'm like, oh wait, I could give you a better deal because I'll give you the more expensive piece for free. That was like it, and they're like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. I was like, sweet, add on an extra piece. Imagine if like you did that multiple times. The other day I was field training a kid at a base, and a lady came up and was interested in a lockback pocket knife. I start with that a lot. It's a great knife. And literally, then I was like, oh, by the way, like, have you seen any of our kitchen stuff? She goes, no. I'm like, have you ever thought about getting some good knives? She's like, oh, I think I have some pretty good ones. I'm like, oh, we'll just swing around real quick. Like, you got to check it out. It's awesome stuff. Because just so you know, like, the more you spend, the more you get. So if there was anything you were interested in, I can get you a really crazy turbocharged deal on it today. Patent side. That's a great line, by the way. A crazy, ridiculous, super turbocharged deal. If you think you'd get it eventually, it just makes sense to get it today. If you can afford it and budget it with the 5-pay. I love talking about how like it's only an extra $20 a month over the next 5 months. That's like a trip to like Quick Trip to get like some pop and candy. Soda pop? Yo, Coke? It's like, if you would see yourself getting practical use out of this, and you're going to get it eventually, why would you not just get it now and save money? That makes sense. Right? So then, you go from there to, again, always offer again. You offer a second time, and they take it. What's great is anytime a customer says no, they're not saying, no, I'm done. They're saying no to that offer. That offer does not appeal to me because I already have a really good ice cream scoop that I really like. Or I already have flatware I really like. So always offer, and then always offer again. And keep offering, and show them different packages. It's like a lot of times, a lot of people like feel like, oh, I don't want to be pushy. Like you're not being pushy, you're showing them all your value. Like, do you believe they should have more Cutco? If you believe that in your heart, then it's like, well, of course I'm going to show them more stuff because they don't even know everything we sell. One of my favorite lines is, oh my gosh, this is like Cutco's best kept secret is that we sell cookware. This is Cutco's best kept secret, the vegetable knife. This is Cutco's best kept secret, the blank. It's like we don't even teach our like college kids like how 95% of people get Cutco is from a college kid, and we don't even teach them when we sell this stuff. Like I have customers that are like, they'll say it about the hunting knives, like, oh yeah, like I don't think the college kid was like able to sell that. I'm like, yeah, they definitely were, but yeah, you're right. Like they couldn't, so let me sell it to you. It's like, I don't think they were even allowed to sell it. Like, no, they just didn't know how to sell it because they didn't know anything. And like I was there once too. Ignorance on fire. Really excited about Cutco, didn't know what you were doing, right? You guys have all the tools and the tips necessary to sell tons of Cutco, right? But take advantage of it. Like Josh is a mentor of mine, and like one of his power axioms that I love to use is like, knowledge is only power if action's applied to it. Knowledge is only power with action. It doesn't matter how much you know. Because if knowledge was king, then the librarians would be the most powerful people in the world, right? Knowledge is only power when action is applied to it. So like you're like learn a ton of stuff. Like I said, like the three like most influential people in my life are all like talkers here as far as in the Cutco world. Like they're all speakers and giving talks and tips. And if you're not like taking furious notes, it's like kick you in the shins, man, because this is like some really great stuff you're gonna learn. And here's the thing. It can impact your business in a huge way. Like my sales, like I've gone from 180 to 200. And that was because I didn't do anything different. I didn't go out and learn from anyone new. That year, I just kept the same knowledge I learned from Curtis the year before. I was like, I'm doing well. And then pretty much, I went down and learned a little bit from Josh, but I didn't really apply the mastery of upselling. I went from 200 to 230. And then that year, I got really serious about like, okay, I have this script, I have this knowledge, like I need to memorize it. And I finally committed to like memorizing a script like I was working my job. If you don't choose to memorize it, that's like basically like, I'm only worth like $50 an hour. Like I don't want to get the raise of $150 an hour. Like that's a decision you're making anytime you choose not to put the work in outside of the booth. I'm mentoring someone right now, and I literally I started finding him $100 a week that he didn't have the script memorized. After 2 weeks, he was like, I got it memorized. I'm like, yeah, awesome. It's like, I had to associate pain with it because without pain, there wasn't the motivation. I was like, do you want to for me to keep finding you? Like, I don't want to keep finding you. Like, I'm fine with free money, but like, I would rather you take the time, put in the energy that it takes, which is like, we're all smart individuals. Like, you guys have risen to you guys are like the cream of the crop when it comes to Cutco. It's like, there's untold potential here if you choose to put in the time. If you choose to memorize, take the notes and the gems you're going to get here and apply them to your business. Rule number 3, they'll tell you when they're done. Like who here has had someone that was super easy upsell? So you're like, oh, that was super easy. I should offer them something else. And they take that, you're like, oh, that was cool. I'll do it again. And then you keep showing them stuff, and they keep being like, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. And they're like, what am I even at? And you finally get to the end, you're like, $3,000. And they're like, all right, don't show me anything else. I'm like, are you sure? There's one other cool thing. Can I show you one other thing? They're like, that's it then. I show it to them. They're like, all right, we'll take it, but don't even show us anything else. I'm like, all right, I'm done. Right? Who here has had an experience like that? It's awesome, right? Imagine if more of your people were saying that on a more regular basis. They're like, don't show me anything else, Sam. We're done. We have no more money to spend with you, right? That's how that's a fun experience, right? At the end of it, they're never mad that they did, right? The best is when you take someone, like I said, from a lockback, and it was upsell. An $80 order, if I had just been content oh, that was a really easy lockback sale, that was awesome. That day I had 2 orders. And if I hadn't taken the time, if I didn't take the time to memorize this formula and apply it day in and day out, and it's progress, not perfection, right? If every single person you get a little bit better with, progress, not perfection. This is something that Josh has in here. Secret tip, all right? If they show interest but they don't buy it, write that down. For later when you go out to do a service call, you know that they're interested in it, right? But then ask another leading question. It's they're not done until they tell you they're done. There's only 2 people. There's 2 sides of the equation. You're the only one that knows all the value you have to add, and they're the only one that knows all the money they have to spend. So don't make the decision for them about when they should be done. Don't take it seriously either. It's have fun with it. Be cheesy. I love to make people laugh, and so they'll come up and be like, oh, what are you selling here? I'm like, oh man, some really sharp knives. Like, we're probably the sharpest booth here. They're like, wow, that was bad. I'm like, I know, but just tell us to cut it out if you want. What? Life's hard on the cutting edge, right? It's like, use bad jokes because like the more comfortable they feel with you, like the more trust they have. Like think about someone that like makes you laugh. Aren't you just like, man, that's like he's a good person. Like you don't even know them, but it's like I trust him. Like he made me laugh. I don't know, something about him. So it's like have fun with your customers. Don't take it too seriously. The whole goal of this formula I just walked you through is to keep it low key. Like it naturally keeps it low key. And it's like if you're having fun with them, it's like they don't feel like you're like trying to like screw them here. Like they understand your job is to sell. It's like someone's like, oh, I'm just looking. I'm like, that's cool. I'm just selling. Let me know if you have any questions, right? Like have fun with your job. Be the highlight of their day. Like this is something that Luke says, like, I promise I'll be the highlight of your day. When he sets up his service calls, I promise I'll be the highlight of your day. Like, make that true. Always remember, whatever they decide to buy first, that's just where they're comfortable starting. That doesn't mean that that's where they're comfortable ending. Only they know how much money they have to spend, and only you know how much value you have. Go out and crush it.